Hello and welcome to Cubs Baseball. It is April 17th of 1969, and the Cubs are going to play Game 2 against the Cardinals in St. Louis. The Cardinals won Game 1 5-0 behind an impressive shutout performance, and the Cubs are hoping for a different outcome today. We're going to see the Cubs sending Rich Nye out to the mound for start number 2. He has allowed no earned runs, does not have a record on the season, and it looks like today is going to be Randy Hundley's day off. And then we're also going to switch Glenn Beckert and move him up in the lineup. And Felsky is going to get moved down to number 8. So, back to the game, we see the Cubs are going to send out a lineup of Kessinger, Williams, Santo, Hickman, Beckert, Banks, Phillips, Felsky doing the catching, and Rich Nye pitching and batting ninth. The Cardinals lineup is going to be Brock, Flood, Brown, Haig, McCarver. Haven't seen him yet in this series. Shannon, Maxville, Gagliano playing second, and Mike Torres on the mound, batting ninth. Torres is going to be making start number 2. He is 0-1 with a 2.25 ERA. It is 67 degrees in St. Louis, the wind blowing in from right at 10 mph. And let's get this game started. Mike Torres is heading out to the mound to do his warm-up pitches. He is going to face Don Kessinger, Cubs leadoff hitter, stepping in from the left side against the righty Torres. The Cubs are coming in with a 2-7 record, last place in the National League East, facing off the Cardinals, who are at 5-4 and third place in the NL East. Cubs trying to snap a 4-game losing streak here. So, Torres on the mound, a 1-ball count, and he's looking for the sign and the pitch. Kessinger grounds weakly over to second. The throw goes to first, and that is out number 1. Billy Williams now the batter, 1 out and nobody on. Here's a 1-strike count, and the pitch to Billy Williams. Grounder toward first, picked up, steps on the base. The first baseman has it, and that is out number 2. Santo now batting, 2 outs and nobody on. Here's an 0-2 pitch to Ron Santo, and he lines that one right up the middle for a base hit. He was a slider. He stayed back on it and drove it up the middle for a single. So Santo is on first, and it brings up Jim Hickman with 2 outs and 1 man on. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Hickman. Popped up to the right side. Second baseman going back, shallow right field, making the catch for out number 3. So the Cubs strand a runner, do not score. We're going to the bottom of the first of a 0-0 ball game. Lou Brock leading off for the Cardinals, 1-time Cub, facing Rich Nye in the bottom of the first inning. Here's a 2-strike count, and Nye working with the pitch. And strike 3 is called. That was a fastball, and he threw it right past Lou Brock. That is out number 1. Brock apparently came back to argue with the umpire, and now he's been thrown out of the ball game. He looks like they're suggesting he might get a suspension. So Brock, not happy with a called strike 3, gets thrown out of the game. And now Kirk Flood is the batter. 1 out, nobody on. Here's a full count pitch to Kirk Flood. There's a liner in the right field. That's going to be a base hit going all the way to the wall. Flood rounding first, heading for second. And the throw goes to second, and the throw is late. So the double puts a runner on second with 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning. Brown now the batter. 1 out, 1 man on. 0-2 pitch from Nye. And here it comes. Popped up center field, going back. Phillips, it's over his head and goes to the wall. Flood comes around to third. He's going to score. And sliding into second with a double is going to be Brown. So the Cardinals have a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the first inning. Haig now the batter with 1 out and 1 man on. Here's a 1-strike count and the pitch. Grounder up the middle. Beckert has it. Throws over to first. That is out number 2. The runner, Haig, is going to be out, and Brown is going to advance to third, bringing up Tim McCarver. 2 outs, runner 90 feet away. Here's a 1-2 count and a grounder to first. Oh, but Banks bobbles it. He throws to first, but the throw is late, and the run scores. So that's probably going to be an unearned run. The Cardinals now ahead 2-0. And Shannon is the next batter. 2 outs, runner on first. Here's the pitch from Nye. Liner into left field, that's another base hit. Past the diving Santo. So first and second now with 2 outs. And it brings up Maxville. Cardinals already leading 2-0. Looking for more here in the bottom of the first. Here's a 2-strike count and the pitch from Nye. That's a grounder to second. Beckert has this one and he kicks it. He throws over to first and the throw is late. The Cubs defense suspect once again in today's game. And now the bases are loaded. The Cardinals are already on 4 outs in this inning. Gagliano is the next batter. 2 outs and the bases loaded. Nye is just beside himself. Here's a 2-strike pitch, and strike 3 is called. I guess that's the only way to get a guaranteed out. So Nye strikes him out with the bases loaded. The Cardinals score twice. We're going to the top of the second inning of a 2-0 St. Louis lead. Beckert is the next batter for the Cubs. He's going to face Torres here leading off the top of the second inning. First pitch to Glenn Beckert. Here it comes. Liner in right field, but the right fielder, Brown, has it and makes the catch for out number 1. Ernie Banks now batting, 1 out, nobody on. Here's a 2-1 count to Ernie Banks and the pitch. Liner up the middle, Banks has a base hit, so Banks continues his hot hitting. He is on first with a 1-out single. And it brings up Adolfo Phillips. 1 out, 1 man on. First pitch to Phillips. Liner up the middle for another base hit. He just about took the pitcher's head off with that one. Banks, in an aggressive move, is going to go from first to third. So the Cubs now have runners on the corners with 1 out, and Felsky is the next batter. Felsky facing Torres. Cubs trying to mount a rally here in the second inning. Full count pitch to Felsky, and that is a walk. The pitch is low. Ball 4 is issued, and the bases are loaded. So Nye is now the batter. And we're going to put on the bunt play and try to drive in a run with the infield drawn in and the pitcher at the plate. Here's the first pitch. The bunt is laid down. It looks like a good one. The throw goes home. And Banks slides and he is safe. So the Cubs score a run. Everybody is safe. Credit Nye with the infield single. And now Kessinger is going to bat with 1 out and the bases loaded. Cubs now down 2-1, bringing the top of the lineup up with the bases loaded and 1 out. Here's a 1-strike pitch to Don Kessinger. Torres working, popped up center field. Is it going to be deep enough? It's not sure. Caught at medium depth. The runner tags up. He's heading home. The throw goes to the cutoff man, and so the Cubs have tied this ball game at 2. Sacrifice play for Don Kessinger brings up Billy Williams with 2 outs and 2 men on. Torres facing the lefty Williams with a 1-1 count. Grounder to the left side. The third baseman comes over to get it. The pitcher actually cuts it off, throws to first, but Williams legs it out for an infield single. So the bases are loaded again, and now Ron Santo is the batter. 2 outs, 3 runners on base. Cubs already forged a 2-2 tie and looking for more. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Ron Santo, and that's a grounder to second. Picked up, thrown over to first, and that is going to end the inning. So Santo grounds out 4-3. The Cubs do score twice. They leave the bases loaded. We're going to the bottom of the second of a 2-2 ball game. Nye facing the pitcher Torres to lead off the Cardinals half of the second. Here's a full count pitch, and that is outside. Is a big curveball that he missed away, and ball 4 puts Torres on first. The new left fielder, Danny Napoleon, is going to be the next batter with nobody out, runner on first. Here's a 1-ball count. And there's a looper, short left field. It clears the shortstop and drops in for a base hit. So the Cardinals now have the first 2 runners on in the second inning. with nobody out and Kurt Flood coming up. 1-1 count to Flood. Here's the pitch. Popped up, blooped into center field again. That's another base hit. The runner, however, stops at third. So Nye faces a bases loaded situation again with nobody out, and Brown is the next batter for the Cardinals. Here's a full count pitch to Brown, and that's lined into left field. It's going all the way back, and Williams watches it leave. Grand slam home run for Brown of the Cardinals. 390 feet out to left field, and it puts the Cardinals up 6-2. So Nye really struggling here in the second inning. He's now going to face Haig with nobody out and nobody on. 4 runs already in. There's a liner into center field. That's another base hit. Adolfo Phillips plays it on a hop, and that is going to be a single, which brings up Tim McCarver. Nye working to McCarver with a 1-1 count, and there's a grounder to short. Kessinger to Beckert, over to Banks, and that is a double play. So the Cubs get the twin killing. We're now going to bring up Mike Shannon with 2 outs and nobody on. Here is a 1-strike pitch from Nye, and that's popped up to center. So Phillips going over toward left center on the warning track and makes the catch for out number 3. The Cardinals score 4 times on a grand slam home run. They take a 6-2 lead into the top of the 3rd inning. Hickman now the batter, leading off for the Cubs in the top of the 3rd. Here's a 1-2 count, and Hickman waiting for the pitch. Lined into right center field, However, the center fielder Flood outruns it and makes the catch for out number 1. Beckert now the batter, 1 out, nobody on. Here's a full count pitch to Glenn Beckert. And that's a swing and a miss for strike 3. So Beckert is a strikeout victim, the first of the day for Torres, and it brings up Ernie Banks. 2 outs, nobody on base, 1 strike pitch to Ernie Banks. Liner past the second baseman into right field. That's going to be a 1-out single for Ernie Banks. And it'll bring up Adolfo Phillips with 2 outs. Runner on first, full count pitch to Phillips, and he watches ball 4 go by, so he heads down to first. And now Felsky is the batter with 2 outs and 2 men on. And this seems like a situation where we should probably warm up a reliever in the event that the pitcher's spot comes up. We want to be able to use a pinch hitter. So, I believe that Dick LeMay, that's right, is going to be warmed up, and he is going to be on call in the event that Felsky gets on base. Here's a 3-0 count, and Felsky waiting for the pitch. That is low and away. It is ball 4. So, it is now decision time. Nye comes up. The bases are loaded with 2 outs. Cubs are down by 4. Nye has not been effective in this game. And so this is going to be a pinch hitter for the Cubs. And it is going to be the first man off the bench. No, not this time. We're going to send Al Montriel up to pinch hit for Nye here in the early stages of this game. So Montriel facing Torres with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Cubs looking for a base hit here in the top of the 3rd inning. Here's a 3-1 count and the pitch from Torres, and it is low. It is ball 4. So Torres draws the walk, which drives in a run. It is now a 6-3 ball game, and Don Kessinger is the batter with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Torres facing Kessinger in the top of the 3rd inning. Full count pitch to Don Kessinger, and Torres working. Swing and a miss for strike 3. So the Cubs do get a run. They leave the bases loaded. We are going to the bottom of the 3rd inning of a 6-3 ball game. So Nye's day is over. LeMay is going to come in, and he is going to slot into the number 9 spot as the new pitcher. LeMay will face the lower third of the Cardinals lineup here in the lower half of the third inning. Here's an 0-2 pitch from LeMay. And here it comes. Swing and a miss for strike three. That was a high fastball. And LeMay blows it right by him. That brings up Gagliano with one out, nobody on. Here's a 2-0 pitch from LeMay. Liner up the middle. That's going to be a base hit. Past the diving Kessinger and out into center field. So a one-out single. And now Torres is the batter. One out, one man on. Torres looking to bunt. Comes back to the mound. The throw goes to first. Beckert covering. And that is out number 2. The runner advances to second, Gugliano. And it brings up Danny Napoleon. With 2 outs, one man on. 1 strike pitch from LeMay. And that gets away. It's going all the way to the backstop. The runner's going to advance to third on the wild pitch. And so Napoleon is now going to bat with 2 outs and a runner on third. Here's a 1-1 count and the pitch. Liner in right field. Hickman going in, and he makes the catch for out number 3. Hickman made a running catch. Nice effort out there. And the inning is over. We're going to the top of the 4th of a 6-3 ball game. Billy Williams is going to face Torres here in the top of the 4th inning. Cubs down by 3, looking to chip away at this lead, and Billy Williams crushes one straight away right field. He finds the seats, and this is a 6-4 ball game. Williams hits the solo home run down the right field line, 395 feet. So the Cardinals' lead is down to 2, and now Ron Santo is the batter. Santo facing Torres with nobody out, nobody on. Here's a 2-1 pitch to Ron Santo. And here it comes. And Santo grounds that one up the middle. The shortstop has it, throws over to first, and that is out number 1. Hickman now the batter with 1 out, nobody on. 1-1 count to Hickman. Here's the pitch. Liner into left field. That one's going to be a base hit. It drops in for a single. And so with 1 out, the Cubs have a runner on first, and Glenn Beckert is the next batter. Beckert facing Torres. Liner in right field for another base hit. Is he going to try to go for third? Rounding second, heading for third. Absolutely. And now Hickman is 90 feet away. Beckert is on first with a single, and Ernie Banks is the batter. 1 out, 2 runners on. First pitch to Ernie Banks, popped up on the infield. The first baseman comes in, and he makes the catch for out number 2. So Banks cannot deliver, brings up Adolfo Phillips with 2 outs and runners on the corners. Phillips trying to help the Cubs claw back into this game. Here's a full count pitch. And he takes strike 3 looking with a slider. So the Cubs strand 2. We're going to the bottom of the 4th of a 6-4 ball game. LeMay is going to face Kurt Flood to lead off the Cardinals half of the 4th inning. Here's a 1-1 count. LeMay working. Here's the pitch. Liner in right field. Hickman going back. That's going all the way to the wall. Extra bases for Kurt Flood. Rounding first, heading for second. He is going to stand into second with a double. So a leadoff double for the Cardinals as Jim Hickman gets the ball back into the cutoff man, and it brings up Byron Brown. Nobody out. Runner in scoring position. LeMay working with a 1-ball count. And here's the pitch. Liner in right field for another base hit. Is Flood going to score? He rounds third. Nope, he thinks better of it and stops. Hickman got that ball back in quickly. And now the Cardinals have runners on the corners with nobody out, and Haig is the next batter. 3-1 count from LeMay, and that is outside for ball 4. So LeMay issues the walk, which loads the bases. So there are nobody out. Bases are loaded. Tim McCarver is the batter for the Cardinals. He comes up with the Cardinals trying to expand their 2-run lead. Here's an 0-2 pitch from LeMay. Grounder to first. Throw over to second. There is no relay, however, to first. So the Cubs try to start the double play, but Kessinger is upended at second base. And the Cardinals score again, and it's now a 7-4 ball game. There are runners on the corners now with 1 out. McCarver on first with the fielder's choice. Brown advancing to third. And Shannon is the batter against LeMay. Here's a 2-2 count and the pitch. Liner into center field for another base hit. That's going to drive in the 8th run of the game for the Cardinals. The throw goes to third, so the runners hold at first and second. It is an 8-4 ball game, and Maxville is the next batter. With 1 out and 2 men on, LeMay facing Maxville with a full count. Here's the pitch. Liner up the middle for another base hit. So LeMay struggling here in the 4th inning. As the throw comes home, the runner comes home, and the run scores. He is safe. McCarver slides in hard. It is a 9-4 Cardinal lead, and Gagliano is the next batter. Facing LeMay with 1 out, 2 men on, 2-1 count. Popped up to right field. Hickman heading toward the line. He has a line on it and makes the catch for out number 2. So the Cardinals, with runners on first and second and 2 out, bring up the pitcher, Torres. LeMay needs to get Torres out to end this inning. So let's see what he can do. Torres facing LeMay with a 1-2 count. And there's a swing and a miss for strike 3. So LeMay retires Torres to end the inning. The Cardinals score 3 times. It is now 9-4 going into the top of the 5th inning. And that is going to cause... Oh, man. You know what? We're going to stick with LeMay. As much as he struggled, I just don't see... If I warm up a pitcher here, I've got Aguirre, who does not have great stamina, and I have got Abernathy, who does not have great stamina. So I think that we're just going to have to suck it up and get a couple more innings out of LeMay. So, top of the 5th inning, Felsky coming up. 2-2 count. Here's the pitch. Strike 3 called, and Felsky heads back to the dugout. So LeMay now batting with 1 out, nobody on. Here's a 3-1 pitch to LeMay. It is high for ball 4, so LeMay actually draws the walk. Torres has issued 5 in this game. And now Kessinger is the batter with 1 out, 1 man on, and a 3-0 count. He takes ball 4. That was low, and he's walked on 4 straight. So Torres issues walk number 6, and Billy Williams now is the batter. 1 out, 2 runners on. Williams facing Torres. First pitch to Williams. I'm sure he's looking for a fastball right here. Liner into center field. That's going to be a base hit. The pitcher LeMay stops at third. So the Cubs have the bases loaded with nobody out, and Santo coming up. The Cubs, once again, trying to rally in this ball game. Santo facing Torres in the top of the 5th inning. Here's a 1-ball count, and he pops it up. Short right field. The second baseman goes out. Infield fly is invoked, and that is out number 2. Hickman now the batter. 2 outs. Bases loaded. Hickman is 1 for 3 today against Torres. Here's a 2-1 count and the pitch. Hickman pops it up to right. This is going to end the inning. The right fielder gets under it and makes the catch for out number 3. So the Cubs leave the bases loaded. We're going to the bottom of the 5th of a 9-4 ball game. LeMay facing Napoleon, bottom of the 5th inning. Here is a first pitch from LeMay. Grounder up the middle, gets past the shortstop into center field. That's a leadoff single for Napoleon. So now, Kurt Flood is going to be the batter. Runner on first, nobody out. Here's the first pitch to Kurt Flood as LeMay looks for the sign. There's a grounder to first. Banks picks it up, flips to LeMay, who's covering the base, and that is out number 1. So Flood grounds out. The fielder's choice allows Napoleon to advance to second, and now Brown is the batter. 1 out, 1 man on, 1-1 count from LeMay. Grounder towards short. Kessinger picks it up, throws over to first after looking the runner back, and that is out number 2. So Napoleon is unable to advance in that scenario, and now Haig is the batter. 2 outs, 1 man on, 1-2 count. And swing and a miss for strike 3. So LeMay strikes him out with an outside curveball, and that ends the inning. The Cardinals strand a runner. We're going to the top of the 6th of a 9-4 ball game. Glenn Beckert now the batter. Torres coming back out. for inning number 6 of work. Here is the first pitch to Glenn Becker. Grounder toward first, picked up, throws to the pitcher covering, and that is out number 1. Ernie Banks now the batter. 1 out, nobody on. Banks coming up with a 1-2 count. And here's the pitch from Torres. Swing and a miss for strike 3. So Banks gets underneath that changeup and misses badly. And now Phillips is the batter with 2 outs and nobody on. Phillips waiting for the full count pitch. Here it comes. Inside for ball 4. So walk number 7 issued by Torres. And it brings up Felski with 2 outs, runner on first. And now, if LeMay's spot comes up, I have to pinch hit for him here. So that means that Abernathy would have to throw the bottom of the 6th inning. Let's see what Felski does. With 2 outs, 1 man on, 3-1 count to Felski, and he lines that one up the middle. That's a base hit. The runner stops at second, and now the Cubs have first and second with 2 outs, and LeMay is coming up. So, Abernathy is warming. We're going to the bench. Willie Smith is going to be the pinch hitter. He is going to face off against the new Cardinal pitcher, lefty, Ramon Hernandez. Hernandez has thrown 4 innings, allowed 5 hits, 2 earned runs, and 3 strikeouts with a 4.50 ERA. So Smith coming up with 2 outs, 2 men on, Cubs down by 5 in the top of the 6th inning. Here's an 0-2 count and the pitch to Willie Smith. Lined into left field. Is that going to drop in for a base hit? Yes, it does. Rounding third and heading home. The throw comes home, the slide, and he is safe. So Phillips scores. Smith gets the RBI single. The Cardinals' lead is cut down to 9-5, and it brings up Don Kessinger. Now with 2 outs and 2 men on. Kessinger facing Hernandez in the top of the 6th inning. 1 strike count. Here's the pitch. Kessinger grounds to short. Thrown over to second, and the side is retired. So the Cubs score once. They strand 2. We're going to the bottom of the 6th of a 9-5 ball game. And now we're going to see Willie Smith is going to be taken out of this game. Ted Abernathy is going to be the new reliever for the Cubs. And he will slot right back into that number 9 spot in the lineup. So Abernathy facing McCarver. Nobody out. Nobody on. Classic leadoff scenario. Abernathy with a 2-0 count. And coming to the plate. Liner up the middle, that's another base hit. Gosh, the Cardinals just keep getting hits. It's just a hit parade here today. That is hit number 14 on the day for the Cardinals. And now Shannon is the batter. Nobody out, runner on first. Abernathy facing Shannon with a 1 strike count and the pitch. Popped up, right center field. Phillips coming over. He calls off Hickman and he makes the catch for out number 1. Made that catch a little bit shy of the warning track, and now Maxville is the batter with 1 out, runner on first. And here's the pitch from Abernathy, and the runner goes. The throw goes down to second, and Felski guns him down on the steal attempt. So that is out number 2. And now Maxville is batting with 2 outs and nobody on base. Here's the full count pitch from Abernathy. Popped up, left field. Coming in is Billy Williams. He gets under it, and he makes the catch for out number 3. So the Cubs retire the Cardinals on the minimum. We're going to the bottom of the 7th, or top of the 7th, of a 9-5 ball game. Billy Williams is going to lead off for the Cubs as they send the middle of the lineup up to the plate in the top of the 7th inning. 1 strike count. Williams waiting for the pitch. Liner into left field. That's deep. Going back at the wall. And it clears the wall. That is a solo home run for Billy Williams. So 379 feet out to left field. Williams just crushed that one out the opposite way. And the score is now 9-6 in favor of the Cardinals. Santo now the batter. Nobody out. Nobody on. Williams has hit 2 home runs in this game. Here's the 2 strike count and the pitch to Santo. Liner up the middle. That should drop in for another base hit. So Santo has the single. He's going to be on first with nobody out, and now Hickman is the batter. Runner on first, facing Hernandez, 3-0 count. Hickman, oh, and there's a balk. Man, Hernandez issues the balk, commits the balk, and allows Santo to advance to second. He still has a 3-0 count, now 3-2, and popped up to left field. Hickman popping it up. Napoleon is under, and he makes the catch for out number 1. So now Beckert will bat with Santo on second and 1 out. Here's the 3-0 pitch to Glenn Beckert, and he pops that one up to short left field. The shortstop going out, pretty sure. Oh, and he drops it. He drops it. That's an error, and everybody is safe. Santo alertly advances from second to third. The shortstop had his back to the infield, and it bounced off his glove for an error. So now Ernie Banks is going to be the batter. With runners on the corners and 1 out, the Cubs given an excellent opportunity to get back in this ball game. Ernie Banks with a full count, waiting for the pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3. So Hernandez gets the strikeout. That's his first of the day, and it brings up Adolfo Phillips. With 2 outs, 2 men on, Hernandez facing Phillips with a 2-strike count. And strike 3 is called. So the Cubs strand 2. We're going to the bottom of the 7th of a 9-6 ball game. Gagliano is going to face Abernathy here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Cardinals up by 3. Here's a 2-2 count and the pitch from Abernathy. Swing and a miss for strike 3. So Abernathy gets strikeout number 1 of the day, and he's now going to face a pinch hitter, Julian Javier, with 1 out and nobody on. Full count pitch from Abernathy, and here it comes. Grounder up the middle. Second baseman Beckert gets a glove on it, throws over to first, and that is out number 2. Napoleon now the batter with 2 outs and nobody on. Napoleon with a 1-ball count, waiting for the pitch. Here it comes. Grounder or liner right at Banks over at first. He reaches out and grabs it, and the 7th inning is over. We're going to the top of the 8th of a 9-6 ball game. So the new Cardinal pitcher is going to be lefty Joe Horner. He comes in with 5 2/3 innings thrown, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts with a .69 ERA. Felsky facing Horner to lead off the Cubs half of the 8th inning. Here's a 2-2 count, and Felsky waiting for the pitch. A swing and a miss for strike 3. That was a sinker. He swung right over it. And now the pitcher's spot is up, and this means that we're going to warm up another reliever. This time it's going to be Hank Aguirre. He is going to have to pitch in the bottom of the 8th inning, and then we're going to see a substitution as Randy Hundley is going to be the pinch hitter for the Cubs in the top of the 8th inning. So Hundley facing Horner. 1-ball count, waiting for the pitch. Grounder back toward the mound. The catcher actually picks it up, throws down to first, and that is out number 2. Kessinger now the batter. 2 outs and nobody on. Horner facing Kessinger. Here's the first pitch to Kessinger, and a grounder toward short, picked up and thrown over to first, and that will retire the side. So the Cubs go down in order in the 8th. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning of a 9-6 ball game. So now Hank Aguirre. Well, so here's what we're going to do. He's not quite ready to warm up. We're going to pretend for a moment that Randy Hundley is coming into the game as the pitcher. And then we're going to visit the mound, and we're going to say, oh, look, Randy Hundley isn't really pitching. Hank Aguirre is ready to pitch. And now Aguirre comes in, and he is the new pitcher. Oh, well, apparently I can't do that. No, he's the pitcher. Cannot replace the pitcher yet. What's he have to do? Throw 1 pitch? Okay. Well, we're going to switch over to pitch-by-pitch mode. Randy Hundley is going to throw 1 pitch, and it's going to be a pitch out. Because I do not want him doing anything important in this situation. And now Now we go over here and we substitute and we say, okay, Hank Aguirre, you're coming in. What does he have to do? Does he have to actually face a batter? Oh, that's a real problem. I don't know when that changed, but apparently Randy Hundley has to actually face one batter because I put him in as the pitcher. Why can't he just be replaced and substituted? I don't get that. Anyway, all right, well, Randy Hundley is going to intentionally walk Curt Flood. And that's going to put him on first because, quite frankly, that's better than any other alternative I could come up with. And now Aguirre is going to come in to pitch. And he's going to face Brown with a runner on first and nobody out. So here is the pitch to Brown. And that is strike one. And, we got to switch this back off of pitch-by-pitch mode. All right, so Aguirre pitched, and he singles up the middle. So Brown gets a single. Flood stopping at second. And now the Cardinals have first and second and nobody out. Aguirre facing Haig with a 1-1 count, 2 runners on. Here's the pitch. Grounder towards second, Beckert to Kessinger, to Banks, and that is a twin killing. 4-6-3 for the double play. And now Flood advances to third. McCarver comes up with 2 outs and 1 man on. Here is the pitch to McCarver. Grounder toward third. Santos scoops it up, throws over to first, and the slow-footed McCarver is thrown out. So the Cardinals threaten, they do not score. We're going to the top of the 9th inning of a 9-6 ball game. And Horner is going to face Billy Williams, Ron Santo, and Jim Hickman in the top of the 9th inning. Williams facing Horner with a full count, waiting for the pitch. That is outside, it is ball 4, so Williams heads down to first. And now Santo is the next batter. Nobody out. Santo is 2 for 5 today. Full count pitch to Ron Santo. Here it comes. Liner into left field. That's going to drop in for a base hit. Williams heads to second. He had to hesitate. He wasn't sure if it was going to be caught or not. But Santo has a single, and now Hickman is the batter. So Hickman actually represents the tying run here in the top of the 9th inning. There are 2 men on and nobody out. Here's a full count pitch to Jim Hickman. Outside for ball 4. So Hickman draws the walk. The Cubs have loaded the bases. They are down by 3. It is the top of the 9th inning, and Glenn Beckert is the next batter. Beckert facing Horner. 1 strike count. Here's the pitch. Popped up. Straightaway center field. Gonna be deep, but I think it's gonna be playable. Caught on the warning track for out number 1. The throw comes, and they don't tag up and score? What in the world is the meaning of that? Flood caught that ball with his back to the infield. I don't understand how Billy Williams didn't tag up and score. All right, Ernie Banks now is the batter with 1 out, bases still loaded. Horner facing Banks with a 1-2 count and the pitch. Strike 3 called. Banks strikes out looking at the changeup. That's 3 strikeouts for him today, and now Adolfo Phillips is the batter. He comes up 1 for 3 on the day. The Cubs down to their final out. The bases have been loaded. The tying run is on first. The go-ahead run is at the plate. Here's an 0-2 count, and Phillips waiting for the pitch. And he's hit. Phillips is hit by the pitch. So Williams is going to score on the hit by pitch. Phillips heads down to first. The score is now 9-7, and Felsky is the next batter. He's 1 for 3 today. He's facing Horner with 2 outs, and the bases still loaded. Here's a full count pitch to Felsky, and that's lined into center field. That's going to drop in. Nope, it is caught. I thought that was going to be over his head, but it did not. So the Cubs leave the bases loaded. They lose to the Cardinals 9-7. The Cubs got 7 runs on 14 hits with 2 errors. The Cardinals got 9 runs on 15 hits with 1 error. The Cubs' Rich Nye suffers the loss. He goes to 0-1. He allowed 7 hits in 2 innings with 6 runs, 5 earned, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. And, the Cubs bullpen threw a total of 6 innings of relief and allowed 3 earned runs. That's basically like a quality start out of the bullpen. So can't really complain too much about that. Torres gets the win. He went 5 2/3, 10 hits, 7 walks, and only 5 earned runs. The Cubs got 17 base runners against him and only scored 5 times. He also struck out 5 and allowed a home run. Player of the game is Byron Brown of the Cardinals. He went 4 for 5, scored 3 times, and drove in 5 runs. So the Cubs dropped to 2-8 while the Cardinals improved to 6-4. Thank you for watching Cubs baseball.